Welcome back to Two Homers and a Realist. This is a midweek pod, a post-game or pre-game pod for the OU Navy matchup, Armed Forces Bowl. It's also playoff season and something called bowl season. I don't know what that means anymore. I'm Steve.
I'm Connor.
Lucas.
Jay.
And we are here out watching the last of the playoff games, Tennessee versus Ohio State. They call them playoffs, but so far they've been kind of bleh.
Formalities.
They're just formalities. It's just been kind of ridiculous. We got a lot of charity cases that are in there. SMU, they got destroyed. Indiana got destroyed. Clemson kind of got destroyed. Had hope that they would beat Texas, but
Tennessee's currently
getting destroyed. That's kind of bad. This is the only game that looked like it was going to mean something. But we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about the Sooners' upcoming matchup. But first of all, let's talk about where we are in the portal situation. So we're in the midst of portal season. And is it safe to say that we should maybe have relaxed a little bit and not had the catastrophizing, end of the world, doom feeling of we're losing all these guys? We've got John Mateer coming in. We've got offensive players from receivers to offensive linemen. Things are not looking as bad as they did, say, a week ago. Is that safe to say?
I'd say it's safe to say. I do think that I think concern was warranted. I mean, we were hemorrhaging players. I mean, you go and look at the list. It was 25 plus, I think. And again, a lot of non-productive players.
I think it was 24 injured players.
24 injured players that never touched the field. I think the only reason I'll justify a little concern is because of the apparent or alleged sweepstakes that came for Mateer right before he committed between us.
That's a good thing then. I mean,
yeah,
everybody wanted this guy, number one pick.
But I think before that happened, like I was stressed out. Like that Tuesday, Wednesday between his portal announcement and when he actually committed, it was a long 24
you
plus
seemed
hours.
Troubled. You seem very troubled.
I was troubled. I mean, like,
I wasn't afraid to go into next season with Mike Hawkins.
I wasn't afraid to do it.
Agree with
I
that.
think he needed another year.
Yeah, I wasn't afraid to do it, but I think
if we would have had to go with him, I don't think it would have been.
I think from an immediate success rate, and who knows, like Hawkins may work with Arbuckle, and Hawkins may develop quickly, and it's a real battle for QB1. I don't know. I was concerned, but you're right. Like I think some of the over catastrophe, whatever you just said.
Catastrophizing.
Yep, I can't say it with all the cigar.
It's a lot of
syllables. A lot of the concern was probably unwarranted. Jay, I think you said it really well in the last pod. That first week really stings. Feels like the end of the world. You get into the second week and things kind of start rolling. So we filled a few spots at wide receiver. We filled obviously the quarterback vacancy that Jackson Arnold left. So we'll see. I don't know. It feels. I mean, Jay, you said something before this game. If you think we'll be in the spot that we're watching right now of perhaps a playoff game. So, I mean, I feel like you're probably feeling pretty good about where we're at in terms of what we've got and who we've picked up.
Yeah, the reason I feel that way is I think even though we lived it and it's still pretty fresh, the offense was horrendous. I mean, historically, absolutely brutal. And we should have 7 wins, even with that. And you bring in a competent OC, and now you've got Mateer on board.
And healthy
and
players.
You've got
assumed healthy players.
Right. Even, I know what we lost at wide receiver looks bad, but if you can't get on the field, then who cares? You know, anybody that has any experience is an upgrade over what we had to play with this year. And it's not against those guys. We had a bunch of true freshmen that got thrust into the situation. And
that could be really beneficial for us.
But like I said, you had an OC and Mateer and an offensive line that got thrown into the fire, a bunch of young guys. Should have had 7 wins this year. If you want to tell me that we get to 9 or 10, that's not that crazy.
No, it's not that crazy. And I'll tell you another thing that you need to think about is when you're someone who is facing a difficulty, a challenge, I'll equate it to something by analogy. If you're facing a significant injury, if you've got something that you come into some significant injury and you need a doctor's help, then it seems like a daunting end of the world situation. And then a doctor comes in with the confidence they've got. And the reason they have confidence is they've seen it 1,000 times. And when I think of that, I think of Dr. Michael Kiehn, our sponsor for the midweek pod. Dr. Kiehn is a board certified surgeon specializing in orthopedic sports medicine. For over 20 years, he's been serving the greater Oklahoma City area along with Western Oklahoma. When you have an injury, you come in and it's the first time you've had an ACL. It's not the first time he's seen an ACL. It might be the third time today he's seen an ACL. The guy knows what he's doing. Not only does his surgical skills in primarily the knees and shoulders excel above everyone else, he's a constant figure on football sidelines throughout Oklahoma high schools and colleges. His deep commitment to sports and devotion to his patients proves that he's the man to see. He's the kind of guy who will come in and fix a situation. And that is an analogy, I think, here, because a doctor knows and he's seen these problems before. Whereas if you're feeling the heat of the battle of the situation, you're overwhelmed by it. But for the doctor, he's seen it. It's okay. And I think that's really, by analogy, that's the situation that the Sooners face. We understand what's happening. They see the inside scoop on what's going on. They know who they're processing, who they're trying to get through the system. They're doing the cost benefit analysis of, okay, here's a guy who he may be a good receiver, but he's not worth to us what he might be worth to a Maryland, where Farouk went, or to one of the other places where you're losing a guy who may have an opportunity on the upside, but he's just not worth it to us. And they're finding opportunities and they're finding guys that can fill spots where they want them filled. And I have a lot of confidence in what's going on right now in putting the people together that they want at the price that they want them to complete the roster so that we have a productive offense.
Well, and if you can pick productive players at a lower price, it allows you to pay R. Mason Thomas
Exactly.
and Dominic Williams,
who are proven
and
quantities.
Robert Spears Jennings, and you keep that defense intact. Right. Yeah, everybody on defense, and you had to pay the quarterback. I'm sure you had to pay Fasusi and Foje and other people as well. But if you can get production, albeit at a lower level or league, over some hype,
Yeah.
then I think that's what we've chosen. And I also, for me personally, I'm hoping that this isn't a position coach only evaluation. I'm hoping Arbuckle is also looking at these players and saying, I can work with this guy.
This is a guy I can make productive in my offense.
Well, no, I think that's what we're going to rely on. You said it last pod, Steve, and I think we kind of discussed it a little bit, but I don't necessarily like the diamond in the rough terminology because it sounds like it's like we're just kind of trying to make someone something. I think some of these guys that we're getting at these lower level schools are proven production that wouldn't necessarily catch the eyes of a lot of people, but guys who are developed and can go and immediately plug into an offense that we're trying to run. And Jay, you bring up a good point. Like, I hope we're all looking at these guys from a staff perspective and saying, this is a guy that it's not just that he shows potential. It's that I know that I can use him in this specific type of offense that we're going to run or the scheme that we're going to run, and we'll thrive. And I think a little bit of confidence that I have that maybe lends credence to that thought process is Arbuckle was at Washington State. Washington State isn't pulling in a ton of dudes who are just like off the charts, incredible athletes. But you look and they're extremely productive under him. So I don't know. I'm not like sitting here. I think probably our best or our highest profile portal pickup was the kid from Arkansas, right?
He was 4-star out of high school.
Yeah, and everyone else was kind of a lower tier school, kind of moving up the ranks into, you had a great season. You're going to step in and be a part of a bigger picture. But I'm hopeful. Like I think like you said, like I think Arbuckle's kind of really wrapping his hands around it.
Well, I think what you're looking for there is right now we're in a fill spot position. You're trying to fill some spots and you're trying to find diamonds in the rough, or at least I don't know, silver in the haystack or whatever you want
Role
the
players
analogy to
around.
be. You want role players.
Needle
who-
and haystack.
Yeah, no, not just needles. Needles, they
I found a lot of silver and a lot of
So
haystacks.
what you want is somebody who can be pretty darn good. You want a Moneyball approach to it. You want something that really is a Bill Belichick type of approach to it, where you're
That's a good way to
saying,
put it.
I want to find some guys who can fill some positions, be productive, be accretive to what we're trying to achieve. In the future, yes, I would love to have the all-stars. If you look at a position like, say, wide receiver
Well,
and
you,
Steve
you
Boulet-
have potential all-star, maybe two.
Oh, absolutely you do.
Burks
Yes.
might be an absolute
And
all-star.
he's your guy. And so he's sort of analogous to a CD Lamb from years ago, potentially. So he could be your CD Lamb where you're saying, all right, of all these guys, he's the guy I'm going to invest in. He's the guy I'm going to put money in. All these other guys are unproven quantities. It's they've had some success or they've got good accolades from high school. I can't invest this much in them. I'm going to invest in guys I can invest in with what I've got to invest. In the future, just like we've done on defense, you build it year by year,
Exactly.
and then you get to a point where, okay, now I know for sure I can go get that guy. And yes, I'm willing to put this level of commitment into this
Yeah, and
particular
you
player.
earn your spot at the table. per se,
Absolutely.
right? And like I think that's a really, really good point. It's like after what we showed on offense this year, you got to reset and say, I can do it with players from, these lower schools that we're bringing in and make them great. That's when you get the eyes of the guys who are transferring out of Alabama or out of Georgia
Or
out
the
of those
high school
big schools,
commitments
or
who
the
are
high school
guys you're
commits who
going to
are
actually
highly
turn into something.
touted guys. Yeah. So I think it's a really good point. Like you got to earn your spot back in those conversations, and speaks again to what you said, Jay. Like we've got to be looking at guys who can fill spots and perform roles to have a productive offense.
Player evaluation.
As much power as the players have today in today's world of college football, the truth is the colleges also have a new tool at their disposal, and that's they can process guys. And so they can take a recruit and they bring in a 5-star guy, and they may pay a lot for him in his true freshman year. But if he can't produce and they don't see what they're wanted out of him, they process him through and they find another guy who can be the guy, be it a new high school recruit or someone who's transferring in, versus you're stuck with a guy and you're just going to have to make the most with what you've got, which 3-4 years down the road could mean that you're not going to be very good because you're stuck with that guy. In today's world, you can reverse whatever mistakes you've made. You can take a flyer on a guy, and I'm saying take a flyer on a 5-star, as weird as that may sound. But you take a guy who's a 5-star, and if he doesn't pan out, you push him through, and he goes and finds another position at somewhere else, and he may be fat and happy where he is, but he's no longer a part of your program. You go find a guy who can fit the bill for what you're trying to do at your program. You get to reset year in and year out.
And I didn't fact check this, but somebody had posted that the top 4 wide receivers in yardage in the SEC this year were FCS players.
Really,
That
I didn't see
transferred
that.
out.
Huh. That's saying
Pretty
something.
incredible.
And not too surprising because not everybody matures at the same level, right? So you've got a lot of guys who are not necessarily reaching their peak, but they are peaking earlier, and so their high school year looks really good. Other guys, their best year is going to be their sophomore year in college. And so they get to that point and you want to go take a stab at them because they all of a sudden are someone who can be a top level player at a top program who obviously was not anywhere on the radar of anyone when it came to recruiting.
Yeah. So how do we, back to kind of the marquee thing, like how do you guys feel about Mateer? Like what are your thoughts?
I mean, watching the highlights, it looks awesome. I'm a little scared of how much he ran in the highlight package that I watched.
I agree.
Because obviously Washington State's not in a conference this year. They're playing lesser competition. Yeah, he's faster than all those guys. He seems like he had a good feel for running.
It'll be an adjustment.
So it'll be adjustment going against the SEC opponents, and they're going to be just as fast as you. They're going to be bigger than you.
They're going to hit hard.
They're gonna
I
hit
can't
hard.
imagine him being worse than Jackson at running.
No. Oh no.
No, I don't think. I'm not saying.
No, but and the only reason I say that is because I think
I'm
that
not worried
was our
about him.
most productive aspect.
I want to see him incorporate the slide.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
he,
get
He
hit.
needs to go to the Kyler Murray school of baseball sliding to avoid the contact because honestly, I still think Hawkins is good, but you're too valuable to be taking massive hits running
Well,
15 times a game. Or
if you nickel and dime somebody for 15 yards and take a slide,
Yeah.
that's all we're asking for.
Right.
Yeah. You
Well,
don't need-
and
I don't need
luckily-
you to rattle off a 35-yard run
Right.
after taking 2
And
hits.
and normally the last decade, he would have to learn that in the season.
Right.
He's going to learn that 2 weeks into camp,
Right.
1 week
the
into
way we
camp.
play.
Now.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
going to realize, okay,
For better
I
or
can't.
worse, the
Because
way
he gets a defense like
Yes.
ours.
well,
I
not
can't
just that,
outrun-
but the way that Brent runs a practice, whether for better or for worse, you're going to get hit, and it's going to be hard. Now he'll be in a blue jersey, but still, you're going to feel
But I
the
just
threat.
meant like how you talked about, like, oh, he can outrun and go around these players. I think 2 days into camp,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's going to see,
Uh-oh.
okay, I can't outrun Kip Morris.
Cody McKenzie.
Right.
Yeah, I can't outrun this guy.
Right.
The safeties are coming down way
Right.
faster.
And they're not asking me to outrun them.
Yeah.
They're asking me to get to productive yardage, and then when we go and we reset, it's first down, and we can do what we want to do.
And hopefully Arbuckle will see that too.
Yeah.
And know that he doesn't need to be running 20 times a game or whatever. And it needs to be, yeah, you run 5 or 6 times to keep the defense honest for the quarterback run, and then the scrambling counts too, obviously. But it looked to me like the scheming of wide receivers being more open space and not just stacked one on top of another was better in what I watched. But I mean, I didn't deep dive into all of Washington State's games.
Right. I would agree on all of those points. I think that one of the, I guess, biggest concerns with Arbuckle will be, can he adjust to what is the top level of college football, which is SEC? Can you adjust to the speed of those defenses? Can you adjust to the strength of those defenses? Can you scheme in a way that actually takes advantage of a defense that may have some shortcomings, but those shortcomings are not anywhere close to the shortcomings you saw when you were at Washington State, because that is much, much lower level of
Or
play.
Western Kentucky where he was before.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Yeah.
light years different.
Yeah, it's
And you may
so,
see
so
some. I mean,
different.
if you look back at like some of Lincoln's early games, like Lincoln struggled in
Yeah.
his first half of season at OU.
Yeah, you did.
Like it wasn't always good.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee,
Even
we're
the
watching them
second
right
year.
now.
Well,
Tennessee
in
was
his
not
first
good,
year,
yeah.
he lost 2 of his first. Really, on offense, we lost 2 of our first 3 games to Houston
Second year.
and
Second. Against Houston and Ohio State.
in 16. That's
2016.
right. Yeah.
First year
Yeah,
we
right.
struggled at Tennessee.
First year we
But I
struggled.
mean, first year you go back and you look at
Oh,
like
yeah.
Texas, like the Texas game where Lincoln refuses to run the ball, and we have 2 of the best running backs in the conference, if
That
not
country,
the
yeah.
best running backs in the conference. And I mean, there's going to be a curve for sure, and you got to hope that stuff gets shaken out early on against the. I mean, we don't have a lot of time to figure it out.
Not a lot of
like
time.
there's 5 games there,
Moves fast.
and you're playing Michigan and Auburn and 2 of those. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think. Where do you guys think we're lacking? I mean, I think there's an obvious answer.
Tight end.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so how do we think that's going to shake out? Do you
And
think we
fullback.
land someone? Do you think we're going to roll with Mitchell or?
Well, I mean, I was listening to, I don't remember if it was Gabe and Teddy, but they were saying you need 5 tight ends on campus essentially. Caden Helms has barely ever played because he's always injured. You're losing, you lost Sharp.
Losing Roberts.
Roberts is graduating. So literally you've got like 2 serviceable tight ends if Helms is healthy. And Mitchell's new. Couldn't get on the field this year because he reclassified. He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
So that you have to bring in 2 tight ends that can play on a regular basis because there may be 2 tight end sets. And so you can't just go with the 2 guys you got. You need at least 2 guys more. Because we didn't bring in a freshman, did we?
No,
That gets to a
I
question.
don't think we did.
So
Yeah, I don't think
how are
we
we
did.
doing in the portal? And very specifically, we've seen a number of tight ends that we were in on in the portal that we were in on as high school recruits that we've missed out on. What's going on there? Is it just a Joe John Finley issue, or is there some strategy there? What's happening?
I think it's a Joe John at the forefront of the issue for sure. I don't think it, but I also think it's a lack of focus on that area. Like I don't know if we're just leaving it all up to Joe John to go figure it all out and it's just not working. Like where did Haas end up? Did Haas end up at Florida? Where did he go? Has he committed?
Ole Miss.
Well, everyone's there.
Yeah.
He was
So
at Arkansas.
Yeah.
And
But we lost the Tulsa kid that we offered to Houston, which is crazy. Like you can't put something together to make that work out. I mean, I think we've offered a couple in the last few days. I'm not holding my breath.
do we know anything about Arbuckle and tight ends at Washington State?
I don't know.
Does he not? Does he de-emphasize the
isn't.
position?
No.
Then why isn't he leading the charge to we gotta get somebody, or is he happy with who we have?
Well, it just
Well, numbers
depends.
wise, you can't be happy with you.
Yeah. I would say it depends what
We
you're.
got one, right? Roberts.
No, Roberts.
Or not
he'll be
Roberts.
Devon Mitchell was a
Mitchell.
five.
John Mitchell.
He was
and
a
then you've got
five-star tight
Peyton
end.
Helms.
Yeah,
who's
Helms.
never been
Okay.
able to be.
And there's one more, McIntyre.
Cade McIntyre.
Cade McIntyre.
He can't have looked at what it could he have looked at to be happy with that.
Well,
Maybe
the
they're
thing
expecting
is,
after
it's not the
playoffs,
only
you
portal
can
time.
grab a couple of those guys.
I mean, there's more.
No,
There's,
there'll be
there's still the
spring.
rest of
Yeah,
this
there'll
portal,
be spring.
and there's the portal after spring.
It'll be post spring.
But post spring ball, can you really be that hopeful of a quality tight end that you're going to
Definitely
get?
more of a roll of the dice,
Yeah,
I would say.
If I had to guess, they're watching them. He's at practice. He's watching what we have now.
He'll be on the sideline for the ball game.
Yeah, but I'm
no,
saying
he'll be coaching.
Coaching.
he's watching what we have now. And maybe they're good enough pass catchers, and we're just waiting for the right type of blocking tight end.
You know, strategically, they could be thinking of a 2-year plan, which is similar to what they did on the defensive side of the ball. So here's where we have to fill some gaps.
Well, he also said,
And then in the second year, we come in and we complete the
Well,
package.
Brent Venables may not have 2 years if he throws out another 6-6 season.
I don't think a tight end is the difference between a 6-6 and a 9-3.
I
season.
agree, but
but-
I don't think you can be resting on a 2-year plan for anything at this
Arbuckle also said
on
that
offense.
he will adjust his scheme to what
To the players
players
that
we
he's
have.
got.
Which is what every offensive coordinator in the world should do.
But I don't
Should
think they
do.
all do.
Should do.
But they don't necessarily all do it.
So we might just not be a very tight end heavy team this year. I don't know.
It could be.
Crazy.
Maybe
It could
Mitchell
be.
makes that next step up.
That's like the kicker
he's old.
position. Like you can go find a guy to go play H-back or tight end per se. Like there's a lot of big bodies out there that are at lower level schools.
Well, when
that
you think
can
of a
figure
diamond
out.
in the rough,
Like,
go
figure
find a
it
guy
out.
who's a really big receiver
Yeah.
who isn't very attractive from a receiver standpoint and say, we're going to
Not
convert
fast,
you to
yeah.
tight end. Or
But they
someone
gotta-
who's more of a fullback type of
They got to block.
a size.
Like when you take a big receiver that's a little bit slow, you can't just put him on the line and expect him to be able to block defensive end.
Well, yeah,
I
and
thought
so
they
you
tried
got to
with
find
Bauer
that
Sharp.
guy. You got to find that guy.
And it didn't work.
No. So don't go find another Bauer Sharp.
Yes.
Real easy on that one. I don't know.
Bauer Sharp is going to be a good football player. I don't care what he says.
He is going to be a good football
As a
player,
big
probably.
slot wide receiver. Yeah.
He might.
I
yeah.
know, but like that's what I'm saying. Like I think he's like I think LSU is poised to make a
Yeah, they're not going to make him.
solid spot for him.
They're not going to make him counter cutback the weak side defensive end.
Like it's
That's probably-
it's gonna suck watching him beat Brock Bowers next year.
There's probably 2 players
No
then
chance.
at least that will look really good. Bauer Sharp and Jackson Arnold.
And they
Jackson Arnold at Auburn will probably look pretty strong.
Yeah.
we
Nick
can't-
Anderson at LSU, if healthy, will be.
And Nick Anderson, yeah. Which won't be a big surprise. Bauer
No.
Sharp will be a surprise.
Yes.
Nick Anderson won't be a surprise. He'll just be healthy.
Right.
So I can see those guys actually having some future and doing well, but you've got to have somebody who at the coaching position can use them effectively and can give them good guidance to figure out how to use them effectively. And we've been absolutely
Awful.
a victim of bad coaching this entire season.
right.
And that's the big hope of everything going into the next season.
That's the other part that I don't think us and fans have realized. Our coordinator position this season was it was so bad. I don't even think we realized how bad it was.
I don't know.
Even though we lived it, I
Feel it.
still don't think we know how about it.
I mean, I'm sure like being in there, like in walkthroughs and film and everything, like I bet it was so disjointed. I can't
I
fathom.
mean, the plays we saw with our own eyes that we
Yeah.
could remember after the game, an hour and a half after when we're doing our pod and we're pointing out specific plays that got blown up because they were horrific play calls, like Bauer Sharp wide over here to throw a pass, or Bauer Sharp on an end around, or I mean, we're remembering all that stuff offhand, and they're scouring
they're-
through the tape, seeing
They're scheming.
wow, why did we call this?
Yeah.
Well, and every single, route combination that we ran was just layered improperly. So, I mean, that's the best way I can put it.
It's just like, did you watch film?
It's gonna, it's so bad that we forget what it can actually look like.
Yes.
And I think as soon as we come out the gates this next year, I have a feeling all of us, maybe not as much Lucas, you're gonna have to keep us off the hype train because
No problem.
the defense is gonna be as good or better. I'm gonna say
completely
better.
Agree. Yes. Yes.
It's going to be tough to replace Danny.
Very.
I know Kip and
I don't
Kobe
know.
are
Though.
good.
Kip
but
and Kobe.
I think it's going to be another year before they're.
Yeah, but you're
it's a
talking
step
about.
level.
I don't
But
know.
you're talking about-
Danny's good, but he's not that good. He's not Brian Boswell.
Okay, but here's the deal. Okay,
But
so
neither
let's
the other
say you lose
They
two.
don't have to be.
Yeah, but if he's a 9.5 at the linebacker level, those guys
he's
are
that
going to
good.
be 8s.
Yeah, but you're losing two guys,
I
right?
mean, it was a Butkus semifinals.
That are elite, right? You're losing two guys that are elite.
Well, Billy wasn't elite this year.
True. But,
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I think Billy could have probably been replaced this year.
But point being, everybody else has another year. So you had 9 guys, 9 good players, and 2 elite, but just for the sake of argument. Now you're gonna have probably just 11 good guys. Maybe no one's elite.
Which is unlike. I
I
think
don't know.
you're
You
going
may
to
have
find
like an
someone
Eli
who's
Bowen
elite.
being elite. Or you
Well,
may have an RSJ
if
being
you-
elite. You may
Jay
have a,
Jackson was elite.
Even
may have
more
a
to
Kip
your
Lewis
get
point.
Dolby? You get a Dolby?
Even more in
You get
support of
Dolby
what you're
back?
saying. Yes.
You get
Losing Downs will hurt.
what's
a
the other
little bit.
corner?
I don't know. You got Danny Okoye coming in after a year in the system as well.
Gentry's going to be
Gentry.
healthy.
Gentry will be back.
Gentry, Dolby, everybody else, and an older Jaden Jackson, an older David Stone, an older Dominic Williams, an older R. Mason Thomas, an older
PJ.
an older Kip, an older Kobe, an older Eli, an older
Peyton.
The
I mean,
the benefactor.
the whole
The
the
benefactor.
defense
I'm
could
with
be
you.
a lot.
Jaron
I'm
Kanek.
absolutely
Jaron
with you.
Kanek is going to be the benefactor.
The defense as good or better, and the offense significantly better.
Significantly better.
Significantly
And I
better.
don't care. I get that people see the Andersons and all them leaving. They didn't do anything this year.
That's right.
So you have to look at what did we roll with this season. And if you think that we can't replace or improve upon a Brennan Thompson and a bunch of true freshmen who are also still on the team,
Right.
Kearney and Carry On and Raggins, and they're all still here. But to bring in replacements that have production somewhere else, a quarterback that threw for 3,000 yards and ran for 900, we lost a 1,200-yard passing quarterback. We're all freaking out about it.
Who only threw 11 passes over 20 yards.
I'm also
All
gonna
And he had 47 fumbles or something.
I'm also going to point out that if you go back and listen to our pre-Alamo Bowl podcast, it probably sounds exactly like this. The defense is going to be better, as good or better next
And
year.
it was.
And we said our offense is going to be significantly better because we're losing Dylan Gabriel. We got Jackson Arnold. We're getting rid of Jeff
And it
Levy.
should have been.
Sorry ass.
It
And
should
it
have
should
been
have
because
been.
we had.
Somebody that knows what they're doing,
But that's totally
and it
different.
didn't.
It's totally different. It
But we
should
didn't
been.
have the players we thought we were going to have
It
playing.
may not next year either.
Okay, but like
Okay.
as
Are
of
you-
right now, as of
Yeah.
today, we have all these guys.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
counting on injuries, yeah, we might be
that's counting
horrible.
some
Yeah, if we lose all 5 top wide receivers again,
We're probably
then
gonna be in
sure,
the same
right,
spot.
right.
Yeah,
We'll still be better
But our
because
top-
the
We'll still be
tier
better
is
'cause we'll
better.
know
Our
what we're
top
doing,
5
yeah.
receivers going into this year are way better than our top 5 going into next year.
not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Not with the offensive coordinator that we were with versus
And
who
the
we'll
coach.
have.
I
I will
watched
take.
Jackson Arnold throw for 400 yards against Arizona with Seth Luttrell calling plays and was excited about the next year.
So, are you saying there's a reason to not be excited about the offense next year compared to this year?
No, but I think you're over hyping how good the offense is gonna be next year.
So if the offense is top 50, they'll have improved 40 some spots.
60 spots.
Okay. Yeah. So how many more wins is that?
At least
Maybe
three.
two.
It-
No,
at least three.
At least three. At
Maybe.
least three.
At least
Even
three.
if it's 2, it's okay because we should have had 7 right now.
But we would have beat Tennessee.
We could have
We'd
8.
have beat South Carolina.
Nah.
We'd obviously
We beat Missouri.
we
should
would have beat
we
South
did-
Carolina.
We beat Missouri.
Could have beaten
Yes.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is the other
We would have
team.
definitely beat South Carolina. South Carolina had 3 guinea turnovers. There's no way we don't beat South Carolina.
And LSU, Missouri. I mean, you run. It's hard to give us a loss.
I mean, I give us the Missouri win for sure, and then Ole Miss we led at halftime. LSU we blew it right before the half, so that could still be a loss with the better offense. I mean, I think we were probably an 8-4 team with everybody healthy this year.
9-3 at least.
With everyone healthy and,
All the
and
receivers
absolutely
healthy and the O line.
an absolutely pathetic offensive coordinator.
Yeah. So
It would be
if,
the 8-4 that I.
if you say everyone healthy with the same coordinators, probably 8-4.
Yeah,
is
that's
as
what
good
I'm
as
saying.
So 8-4, and you didn't think Seth Luttrell was bad.
No.
So you think? So do you think Arbuckle is as bad as Seth Luttrell?
To be determined. Don't know.
I will take the over. I will definitely think that Arbuckle is better than Seth Luttrell.
I mean, how do we
Which-
know how Seth Luttrell's going to turn out when he had all those injuries? He was
Because I
literally-
looked at the
he
plays he
literally
threw
played
up,
with-
and they were idiotic.
I saw the offense.
he was literally playing with 3 arms tied behind his
You
back.
can't tell me that he's drawing up plays because of the personnel that were not there.
I'll go in between the two. I see both sides. What I don't like is there was 0 adjustment from.
Ever.
He couldn't adapt.
I agree with that.
Same game plan every week.
So maybe he would have been just fine without the injuries and been a really good coordinator. But what he did prove is that with adversity, he had no answer.
Yes.
So
I'll agree with that completely.
So I don't think we're too far apart on how we are right here. You're a little more cautious to jump on the we're going to be good.
I'm going early prediction next season 6-6.
Oh, I'll hard take the over.
Can we
What
like?
do you want
I
to
know
bet?
you will.
I don't want to.
what
I
do you
want to
wanna
do
bet?
like a bigger than breakfast bet type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like what is bigger than a breakfast bet?
Yeah, absolutely.
A Cuban bet.
Yeah, Cuban bet. I'll bet you a Cuban.
I don't know
We-
where you're going to get yours.
You fly to Cuba.
you can't.
I mean, I may watch
you
a spring
can't say
game.
we're not going to be.
I may watch a spring game and be like, no, this is an 8-4 team. Maybe. I'm saying currently, as it stands, I'm saying 6-6 because I don't know that our offensive line is going to be any better than it was the last 3 games of this year. We have no tight end whatsoever. Maybe he wants to play with a fullback. We don't have a fullback on the roster. So at this point,
Like
I don't
Jay
know that we
Kiehn.
can run Washington State's offense because we don't have the personnel to do it.
That seems like a strange, like, I don't know, overly pessimistic worry to think that we're going to be 6-6, a season that was as
It's 3
bad
out of
as
the
it
last
could
4
be
seasons.
to get to 6-6. Like, we didn't struggle to get to 6-6. We struggled to be as bad as 6-6. We had to be that bad to get to 6-6.
I mean, we're not a better team than Bama, and we won that game. I don't think we're better than Bama.
but we won that game.
That was just a confluence of everything went perfectly that
So,
game.
no, no,
But there's a
no,
balancing.
the
of There's
point
a
I'm saying is,
balancing there.
we didn't like barely get to 6-6. We had to struggle to be bad to get to 6-6.
barely
We had to
got
give
6-6.
away a game to get to 6-6.
We had to play our best game of the season against Bama to get to
No,
6-6.
we had to fumble the ball away in a weird way to not be
Not
7-5.
Yeah, exactly. And we had to turn the ball turn over the ball 3 times in a row at the beginning of a game to get one of those losses. We beat South Carolina if we don't turn
I mean,
the ball over.
You got the rose-colored glasses. I get it.
It's not rose
Why
colored.
you're
It's
homer.
factual.
It's just like that's how good
Go
we
look at
actually
go
were.
look at the stats
I was
after
there.
those turnovers.
I was there.
I know you were. So go look at the game
I
after
had a
those
better
turnovers.
view than you did.
I bring it back. I bring it back to the point. I bring it back to. I don't think
We're not going to be worse.
we can.
I didn't say
comprehend
we were.
how
I said
bad
we're going to be the same, 6-6.
No, I'm saying
There's
you're under. For
There's
me,
no way.
you are underestimating how
stupid.
bad we were on.
You're so dumb if you think that's.
I know you saw it. I know you saw
You're an
it,
idiot.
but we were so bad on offense.
There's no
it
way.
scrambled your brain.
Oh,
That's
If
how
you
bad.
think that we're going to be worse than what we saw on the offensive side of the
yeah,
ball.
I did not
With
say
the-
worse.
We have
Okay,
to
We're barely
if you
gonna be
even
better
think
than
we're the
120.
same, we're not going to be remotely the same. There's no
If our
way.
offense goes from 120 to 80,
You are so
I don't
dumb.
think that's any more
No,
victory necessary.
no, that is
Wins-wise.
dumb. There's no freaking way. There's no way. There's no way. Mateer is better than Arnold.
How many
If Mateer's
turnovers did our defense forced that got us a couple of those wins?
who cares?
Maybe we don't get
The
those
defense
turnovers,
is going to be
and
just
we
as
lose a couple.
good. They're going to force the same turnovers.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
Turnovers are completely at random. Ask Steve. He's
Oh
got
my
them
god!
mathematically
Yeah, they're at
formulated.
random, but we're going to force turnovers that are going to change games, and we're going to score off of them. We're not going to turn it over right after. We are
fumbles are
going.
random, not
We are a
interceptions.
9-3 team at worst next year. Sign me up. Breakfast bet.
I
6
like
and
it.
6, 9-3. Crazy. You're crazy.
I love it.
That's not even homeristic. That's
love it.
massively pessimistic.
That's good. That's what we need.
I
to
don't
lead
know what
into
our
the season
record's
with.
gonna be. I haven't dived that deep yet,
11-1.
but
We're not gonna lose a game.
Yeah,
listen.
Sorry.
You don't get
Talk to
you
me
don't
right before the
get
season.
one of the hottest offensive coordinators in the country. Maybe the top. As a matter of fact, according to several sites, he's the third best Heisman odds to preseason. You're not going to be 120th in offense.
His name's
Okay.
not John Mateer, it's God
I
Mateer.
mean, Jackson was a top 12 Heisman candidate going
Well,
into
they
season
ain't top
2. We
three.
see how that worked out.
But he wasn't proven.
And he wasn't proven. This guy has actually done it. He had 44 touchdowns in Division I college football last year.
In Division I college football against absolutely
Our
no
entire
offense.
team had 30.
I'm not saying the offense isn't going to be better.
It's got
just
to be
saying,
better.
Our defense was really good. We can't guarantee that it will be as good next
Damn
year.
it, Lucas! I can't handle it if it's not,
Not
better.
better
is
than
good.
better.
It is going to be.
It
It's
has
got to
to
be.
be
It has
better.
to be better.
I don't. Again, like Steve said,
I don't know
think
that
you,
it can't be better.
I don't
We
think
had
you.
2 injuries the entire season on defense. We lost Dolby and we never played with Gentry. So maybe those 2
Yeah,
guys
and
come
guess
back.
who we're rolling with? Freaking Kanai Walker for half the season, who sucked.
Well, who says you're going to have every other position stay healthy like it did this year?
I agree.
It's not going to.
You're playing all these. I'm playing like everything is as
Well,
is. Right now.
luckily-
Perfect la-di-da. We go 9-3.
I'm not saying,
Luckily,
like,
we're
people
scoring
aren't gonna get
47 freaking points a game next year.
We're gonna be good.
We're gonna be so good.
Okay.
Our safety group is deep. Our linebacker group is deep. Our cornerback room is pretty deep. We're even gonna go get another one.
And I can know what I know.
Well,
you know.
6 and 6.
You have to look at his season.
6
though.
and 6. I'm actually pretty impressed with that
You
bar.
have to look
I
at his
can't
season
wait
without
for you to come
injury.
up from.
You can't just assume some injury. Like you have to kind of gauge it.
Venables
injury-free.
might die tomorrow.
It's impossible.
I mean, you have to gauge the season injury free
As it is
Ish.
right now.
or a normal amount of injuries.
not all concentrated in one position.
in one group.
Yeah. Well, that
Well, when we made our predictions going into last season, we made all our predictions the midweek before the season starts. At that point, we already didn't have Andrew Anthony and we didn't have Anderson.
But we didn't know
We
how
didn't have
long they were going
Gibson.
to be out. But we didn't know that.
we also
We didn't know.
that
We
they
didn't know.
weren't coming
Ten-
back.
also
No,
didn't know
we didn't know.
that Latrell
We
was
did not know.
an
We thought
absolute
Anderson.
idiot.
We thought Anderson and Anthony
come
were
back
like
by
1 or 2
Texas.
weeks.
Yeah, no,
1
we
or 2
thought they were
weeks.
just sitting out,
1 or 2 weeks.
not practicing.
Yeah, Gibson
Right.
was the only
That was
person
it.
that we said is done.
Yeah, because he was
And we
front.
said, all right, we have Anderson, we have Anthony, we have Farouk. It's all going to be good.
We had Farouk and Burks to start.
And then we wanted to kill ourselves.
And we didn't think that Seth Latrell was going to be like a brain
An
dead
idiot.
idiot.
And no offense, but
No
he
one
is.
thought that. He was so bad. He was so bad. It won't take a super genius to outperform Seth Latrell.
Last year's
You guys could do it.
offensive rankings will someday be like our grandkids
Yeah.
trivia question.
Right.
Like what was the last time that Oklahoma's offense was
Not
out
the
of the
top
top
100?
100? You're like, oh, I remember
Yeah,
Dad.
what
I remember
year-
Grandpa
what year-
talking about
Yeah,
that.
what year did
About that.
what year did Oklahoma have a Gatorade Player of the Year nationally at quarterback and then perform in the
Yeah.
lower 100s in total offense? Oh, we were there, son.
Not to mention, we played the wrong running back the entire season.
Yeah.
Which and he's not listed as the starter for Christ's
No,
sake.
no,
on
no,
the
no, no,
fucking
no.
thing.
I don't think he's not.
Oars.
It's
Yeah,
or,
okay.
and he is. It wasn't alphabetical. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
I don't know if it was by
Who
like
is there?
seniority or what.
The depth chart.
Is it Barnes, Sawchuk?
No,
Robinson?
Barnes
No,
was
Barnes
on
isn't
there.
even listed.
It's Sawchuk,
Sawchuk,
Tatum.
Franklin, and Sawchuk, Franklin,
Tatum,
Robinson, Tatum.
Tatum
or,
Robinson. No,
yes.
Tatum Robinson. Robinson's the fourth. He's the fourth.
DeMarco's making
And
these guys
Andy
go
Bass
earn
is
it.
fifth.
DeMarco's making him go.
They're
earn it.
playing
Yeah.
games.
Andy Bass
with
is
us
on the
what
depth
they're
chart?
doing.
Yep.
No.
Yes, they're playing games
There's
with
also
us.
some receiver I've never heard that's on the depth chart too.
They're messing with us. I don't like it.
Douchebags.
Well, speaking
I'll be
of,
there. How about you guys?
I'm not gonna be
I'm not
there.
gonna be there.
Oh, you're not going to go to the game?
Jay, you gonna be
that's
there?
weird.
I did take off work, but no, I'm not
To
gonna
watch.
So you'll be here.
I'll be.
So three of us will be here.
Here.
One of us will be there
I'll be
in
in the end
person,
zone.
in the end zone, watching it.
Yep.
Bring us your analysis. Let us know how it goes. I'm very interested to hear how what
it
it
looks
sounds
like
like,
live.
what it looks
Yeah.
like live. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of trivia, I've got some trivia for you guys. Okay, so we know that OU faced a daunting, very difficult schedule this year. It was the sixth toughest strength of schedule of by ranking. I'm looking at CPI rankings, but almost everyone agrees it was basically the sixth toughest schedule. Very, very difficult schedule
This year.
this year. My question is, how difficult was it in the last, compared to the last 25 years? Where would it rank in terms of difficulty of strength of schedule versus how difficult OU strength of schedule was in the last 25 years?
Third.
Seven.
Quick answers.
I'd say it's a top 2 or 3. Yeah.
It is actually fourth. It is the fourth most difficult as ranked by CPI ratings. So
Hold on. I'm gonna say
wrong one.
all 4 of those came in the early 2000s.
Say 2000 be one of them. Right?
No.
Really?
Wait, define early 2000s.
Before 2010.
Correct.
Okay.
So the most difficult was 2005. It was the number one strength of schedule. That was our toughest ever.
8-5 season.
See, Bomar would have had it, but we had the toughest schedule we've ever had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The next toughest was 2004.
Wow.
The fourth toughest schedule
Undefeated.
in that
Undefeated,
season,
yeah.
undefeated in the regular season.
And the championship.
The next one tied for that was 2008.
Wow.
Again.
Again.
It was
undefeated. Now we
Missouri-
lost to Texas.
Missouri, Texas
lost to
Tech.
Texas.
We lost to Texas, but we won the jump around game and
we went 12
we
one
went to the national
goal
championship.
game against-
So
Huh.
then we're the fourth this difficulty.
So we used to be good enough to overcome tough schedules.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was
We're
hardly
2 and
that
2.
tough. Yeah.
We're 2 and 2 in that. Of our top 4. We're
So
2 and 2
2 and 2 what?
of having success.
2 and 2 in success.
It's success.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. So the next was 2010, seventh toughest schedule in 2010.
What was the 2000 season?
The 2000 season was the seventh toughest. Very good. Right
2010
on it.
was tough.
2003, another very good year, was the 12th toughest schedule, our seventh hardest.
We had no we had no offense in 2002.
Yeah, 2001.
2001.
That was the 21st toughest schedule. Our 10th hardest ever. Our fifth hardest was 2010, then 2011. Then the two that I just mentioned, the 2003 and 2007 season. Ninth was 2012. So it's been a while since we've had a schedule this tough. If you look back at 2020, I'm going to go backwards. 2023, 21st toughest schedule in the whole realm of college football. 2022, the 63rd toughest schedule. 2021, the 44th toughest schedule. 2020, 38th. So this has been daunting, obviously, going into the SEC and who we ended up playing in the SEC.
And
next year we get to an easier one because we flipped with Texas, right? Oh no, that's right. We get the same damn schedule and they get the easy one.
And we add Michigan.
Probably be harder.
We add Michigan and we have away games at
Tennessee and
Alabama and South Carolina.
Tennessee.
So, and Tennessee. So, yeah, not tougher at all.
And-
Although Tennessee's not looking so good against Ohio State, so who knows? But kind of interesting there, I think. So I've got a prop bet of the week, if you guys are ready. So we've got a prop bet of the week going, which is going to be a failure on my part to actually win the last week's prop bet of the week, which is how many, I don't know, they have to be determined. They're in scoring position. How many OU opponents, last week we said how many OU opponents will have a victory, and we put it at 1.5. And so right now, Texas won. Tennessee Tulane lost, and now Tennessee is playing, and they're behind against Ohio State. So at 1.5, I was the only one who took the over. You guys took the under. You're looking in the money, but Tennessee may pull it out for me. I've got a new prop bet of the week. All right. Against Navy. 360.5 offensive yards for OU. Total offensive yards. Over or under? That is our average offensive yards. Navy, I think, has averaged defensively about 322 yards that they've given up against their fairly weak schedule. Jay says under. I say over.
Less opportunity.
I say under as well.
I say under because Navy will hold the ball longer.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Well,
Although
Navy
if their
holds the
average
ball
is
against
320,
everybody.
It's still, I mean, that's still against they've done this year.
We just don't. I don't like. I
We're
don't
just
know
not
what.
explosive.
We're not gonna run anything out there that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be. I mean, unless we're just like, hey, Hawk, you're gonna go out and we're gonna freaking cut Carry On and Reagan's and Kearney loose and like, hey, like go have a day.
Are they going to
Jordan.
play?
KJ Daniels.
The transfers are going to play?
No, they're not
No.
transfers.
Those are
Those are
freshmen.
freshmen.
Reagan's is.
No,
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 Reagan
freshmen.
started for us like the whole year.
Oh, you're right.
81, smallest guy, fastest guy.
He played like 700 snaps and had
and had
8
like four.
catches.
He had like 4 catches.
I thought he transferred.
No,
Who am I
he's
thinking
not
that
transferred.
transferred? So Thompson transferred. Nick Anderson transferred. Anderson transferred.
Anthony.
Or Anthony
Anthony.
transferred.
Farouk.
Fruit transferred.
That's it.
Reaganson transferred?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, that's why I said, like, I know Lucas laughed at it at the beginning of the pod. Like, I'm not saying these freshmen who got snaps this week are going to be big parts of the offense next year.
Hester transferred.
Hester, that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah,
But they're
JJ.
gonna be better.
But that being said, like, they're going to be able to rotate in, and at least they've got some SEC game experience.
Yeah, they played all freaking year.
Like, I'm not, no,
They did
not,
nothing.
no,
All year.
no,
We
they
had
didn't do
nobody to
anything.
give them the
They
ball.
did not
for
do anything, and I don't think
We had no
can
offensive
anything
feet
up
to
for
give them the ball.
I don't
That's
think
going to be
we wanna-
different this game.
No, I'm talking about
Joe John's still calling it.
no this year.
We're talking about,
that's why I
we're
said
talking about the
under.
games for this year.
That's what
Should someone
Yeah.
assassinate Joe John before the game?
Do you think?
Is he a healthcare
so
provider?
we are 1 week
Yeah,
away.
my own healthcare.
We're 1 week away from the game. Is there any way that he gets another job and we get somebody else? Who would call plays?
Well,
I don't care.
Emmett
Anybody?
Jones. Emmett Jones would call.
Out of
plays.
a hat.
It's got to be Emmett or Bill. Bill,
Anything.
maybe.
DeMarco.
I wouldn't mind Bill calling the game.
Can we get Romo?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome.
Like do the Bob Stoops
1
thing, or like
week.
bring it in for one game.
Yeah.
One
Like,
game.
hey, you're on a
Yeah, here's what the Sheila.
you're on a 7-day contract.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you guys think I'm halfway serious on this? Do you think we could call the game better than Joe John would call it?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I do. I think between 4 of us, absolutely.
I think we could. We'd script it like, all right, this is your drive, Connor. You get to do this drive.
I would say the only problem we would have is we couldn't adjust formations and routes quick enough.
I don't know if we. I don't know.
Because
I
what's
just wouldn't.
no, but I'm saying what's built in. The problem is what's built in. The whole thing sucks. So I don't know if it matters what plays you're calling because the whole thing is just not right.
If you just put us in front of a college football game and you're scrolling through and you're checking plays and you call it, and then the guy calls it in on the headset and the team knows what each play is, yes, we could call it again.
I think we could. I think we actually could.
I've literally done.
Well, let's get to the meat of the matter, and that is the locks of the week.
The Realist Deal Locks of the Week.
And the locks of the week, of course, are brought to us by 5 Star Concrete. David and Josh, a local business servicing the metro area, specializing in concrete, from patios, sidewalks, driveways, shops, and more. Call them or text them at 405-306-3014 or look them up on Facebook at 5 Star Concrete. They're a lock when it comes to concrete, and I tell you who's a lock when it comes to concrete, and that is Jay. Jay's really good at concrete, and he's really good at picking games in football. In fact, let's just go over the numbers. This is just sickening. Jay is 34-14, 71%. I just got a call from Vegas. They're tired of it. They're tired of losing.
They should be.
They want you to stop.
It's incredible.
You just destroy
That
them.
was incredible.
You win all their money.
Well done.
They had to
Thank you.
turn the lights out for a good hour.
I fully expected a late season collapse.
It didn't
Because
happen.
last year,
We did
I
too.
think I went
We were
0
counting on
12.
it.
I think I went 0 12 the last
You
4
did.
weeks of the season.
You went really, really.
Maybe
poor.
one.
You were very sucky.
Yeah.
But not this year. You just keep the money rolling. You're 3-0 going into today. Lucas, you're 3-0. Congratulations. Connor, you're 2-1. That's good. That's really good. That's money winning. I'm 0-2 and checking in on Tennessee. How is Tennessee doing? Tennessee's getting their asses kicked.
Down 18.
It's only 18.
Yeah.
It's 21-3.
Yeah.
They got a chance.
What's the line?
I'm getting 7.5 points.
All right.
Come on, Tennessee,
Good
you
shot.
sons of bitches, you fighting hypos. Like Bob Berry, come on, buddy, let's do it. Not gonna happen. So it's rough. Before the Tennessee game, so I'm 18-29, 38%. Connor is 23-23-2, 50%. He's Mr. Even Steven. Lucas, 22-24-2 at 48%. The listener's the guy. He is 27-19-0,
They.
59%.
Yeah,
That's true.
male and
There's some,
female listeners.
right, yeah, pronouns.
Yeah.
Hey, get
So-
your pronouns right.
Shelby appreciates the he when it comes to picks.
Yeah, Ava too. So yeah, the listener's been doing great. If you're a listener, thank
Well done.
you for
Well
all your
done.
listenership and your winning. I really appreciate it. As a group, thank you, Jay. We're 97-90-4, 52.
Go. Let's go.
52%.
The plus, baby.
Not against the juice, but okay.
Right.
So regardless, all right. So
Big week this week.
big week this
Big
week. This
12
turns
and 0.
everything around, guys.
12-0.
We turn it around this week.
Not-
We had one.
not
We had
what we
one
did.
12. We had 1-12-0 last year. It's bound to happen.
This
Let's
is
make
the
let's
week.
Make it happen.
This is the week.
Well, if it wasn't for Steve, we're just three of us were 8-1 in the early bowls.
I'm glad Steve didn't go 3-0 because I would have went freaking.
If we
Well,
were
I
11
know I
No,
would
you
have went
had it
3-0.
with me.
I would have went 3-0 if Steve would have went.
No,
3-0.
didn't you have Penn State? You had
No, I
Penn
had-
State, and I had SMU.
But we both had Army.
We both had Army.
So
though,
if you
yeah.
would have,
you would
if
have been
you
2-1,
would've
and I would have been 2-1.
2-1.
Tennessee, thank you very much. Yeah, God, sucky. All right, so all that's water under the bridge. Bygones be bygones. I'm going to start us out. The Sooners giving 3 to Navy. I'm going to take the Sooners. That's easy. That's easy money. That's just come on, guys. There's no chance. The Sooners are going to win. I've got Texas A&M giving 3.5 to USC. USC is spiraling. They can't keep recruit to save their lives. They don't know what they're doing. Lincoln Riley's in trouble. I've got the Texas A&M fighting Colt members beating USC, and I've got Iowa getting 3 against Missouri. Iowa for the win outright,
I like it. I like
but
that.
I like them
I
getting
like
3
that
points.
pick.
What do you guys got?
I'll go next. I've got Nebraska giving 2.5 against Boston College. BC lose their quarterback. That's a lot of their offense there. Rayola plays, I assume, for Nebraska. So hoping they can pull something out there. I've got Colorado, who apparently is playing their players, or playing and paying their players. I've got Colorado giving 5 against the conference matchup versus BYU. And then lastly, I've got Kansas State giving 6.5 against Rutgers.
I have Oklahoma Sooners -3 against Navy.
Nice.
I think we just grind it out. Honestly, it's a talent difference. The Navy probably has more heart than we do, but our little bit of talent difference. I think Hawkins is going to be settled in with this couple weeks of practice. He's going to not be afraid to take off a run. It's the last game of the season. And I think the defense, even without Billy and Danny, step up and just grind Navy down.
Okay.
I have Georgia Tech -3 against Vandy. I was impressed with what Georgia Tech did against Georgia. Vandy, quarterback's really good. Rest of the team, so. And then I've got Miami -3 against Iowa State. Cam Ward says he's playing. That's good enough for me. I don't think Matt Campbell can coach anymore, so I think Miami covers.
All right.
All my spreads are -3.
I like it. Ooh, -3s across the
Okay.
board.
I also have Miami -3. I think it's just a mismatch. Colorado -5 and OU -3 as well. The line came down from what was it, 8.5?
8.5.
8.5 to 3. Give me a break.
8.5.
Yeah.
It opened at 8.5.
Yeah.
Good God.
A lot of bettors on Navy.
Navy beats Army. We have all the
So we are very
transfers.
dependent on a couple of games here because we had 3 of us have OU.
We don't have any opposite
Two
picks.
of us
Two
have
of us have
Colorado.
Miami.
2 of us have
2 of us have
Miami.
Colorado, yep.
All right.
Not a lot of great
We've got a shot here, boys.
looking games.
We
The
got a shot.
listener agrees with us to some extent. Brad, our listener, thank you, Brad. OU -3 against Navy. Arkansas -3 against Texas Tech. And Kansas State -6.5 against Rutgers. So some agreement there for sure.
And this is also only through December 30th.
That's
I
right.
don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah. So we're
Because
gonna
we'll
have
another podcast.
we have
big
another
game.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna give us some games through
We'll have a
you know,
post-game podcast.
the traditional bowl games of the New Year's Day bowls and all that, the playoff games, which will actually be real playoff games, unlike these things that we're witnessing today and yesterday, which are kind of a joke. We thought
That's
this was going to be
pretty
a real.
wild.
It's just ridiculous.
Like-
pretty reminiscent of most of the semifinals though as well.
Yeah,
Had a lot of good semifinal games. I mean, last year the parity was there. I think last year was the best, probably 2 semifinals we've gotten,
Yeah.
yeah.
like collectively in one season. I mean, the
Oh
Rose
yeah,
Bowl
very
was great.
exciting. Very exciting.
Texas
yeah.
Washington was great. I mean, it was really competitive. But outside
If
of
anything,
that,
it
there's
kind
been
of
some
fell off
blowouts.
in the championship
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, I would agree.
Thankfully.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the year before.
Oh, the year before was great as well. You're right. But then
But the
Georgia
championship
just
game was
murdered
just-
TCU. That's
Yeah,
a great point.
yeah.
The semifinal
Total
games were incredible.
Murdering. Well, hopefully we get, I don't know, something that's more interesting to watch, but a lot of these teams that are winning, I don't want them to win very many more games, especially one that's in Austin for sure. Well, we got a game against Navy, guys, and I'm interested in what you guys are going to predict in terms of the final score. So, what's your final score for OU versus Navy?
I'll go first.
Yep. Go ahead.
Pretty sure, Steve.
Let me go
you-
first because I'm going to edit my score that I sent Steve.
Okay,
All right.
do that.
I'm going OU 31, Navy 17.
Ooh, points.
Ooh.
You won.
31.
Nice.
Then we're going to move the ball. We'll figure it out.
What do you
Arbuckle's
got,
coaching
Jay?
quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's right. Arbuckle is coaching quarterbacks.
27-20.
27-20, Jay says. That's the Sooners?
Yep.
Sooners 27, Navy 20. Lucas, what do you got?
Oklahoma 24, Navy 14.
You know what? All you guys are good and close, but not good enough. Sooners 35, Navy 17. I like the 17 score. I think that it's going to be the defense giving up a few things that they probably shouldn't, but maybe late. Maybe a 10 point, a 35 to 20 to 10 game, and they give up a late touchdown, but that's okay. I
If
think
we
the
score
Sooners
in the
gonna
30s,
win.
I don't see how we don't cover.
Yeah,
I think
would
just
agree.
thinking back to our game against Army, the biggest thing is going to be just the defense winning first and second down. Because if Navy's gashing you for 3 or 4 yards on the first 2 downs, and they
It's
see it
third
in
and
their
2.
and it's
Yeah.
3rd and 2, and they see and they're past their own 40, like they're seeing opportunity to say this is 4 down territory. We're gonna keep pounding the ball. Like it's gonna be a big
Time of possession.
time possession, a big penetration matchup where we need Kip getting in the backfield. We need the
RSJ coming
who are
down.
we playing at Cheetah this week, I guess.
Good question.
It's a good question.
Oh, it's Awesome Ego,
I bet
probably
It
Awesome
might be
Ego.
Woody.
Cheetah. That's a
Because
terrible.
he's not covering.
He's not covering, but can he
Yeah, he doesn't
get
take
downhill? He can't get downhill.
Maybe Kinnick plays cheetah.
Ooh,
Because he
can
doesn't
get
have to worry
cheetah.
too much about cover.
He doesn't, and he just
Actually,
can
he
get
may not
back.
have a cheetah. This may be an
Yeah,
actual.
but he doesn't
4-3.
know where to go.
Yeah, this may be a
the
pure
my
4-3.
favorite defensive.
Yeah.
4-3.
It might be a 5-2.
It really might be. Yeah.
I mean, you can bring RSJ up. Is Peyton Bowen going to take Billy Bowman's spot?
Yeah.
I don't mind that. You can leave Eli out on the island against their best corner. I mean, their best receiver.
That's okay.
That's good with me. Who's our other starter? Is it Jacoby Johnson?
Jacoby's going to be on offense at wide receiver.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
We have like 4 guys
Is he
playing.
listed on the 2 deep at wide receiver?
No.
No, but he will be.
I don't
So
know.
our strength of our defense is rushing, and that's obviously the strength of their offense. So I don't know.
They're going to get their
Athlete,
plays.
they'll get their plays, but we're going to out athlete them. And unlike when we played Army in 2018, we're not facing or we're not approaching the game from a standpoint of passing being so dominant. We're really a running team right now, for better or for worse, because we have to be. So,
We have a running quarterback.
and we have a running quarterback.
Well, yeah,
So,
We had only one player on our defense who could tackle.
yeah. A defense tremendously better than that.
Who was that
defense.
bum we had a quarterback at first Army?
Maybe
That was a guy named Kyler
Kyler
Murray, and he won the Heisman.
Hmm.
So,
He just still got to touch the ball 4 times the entire
you
game.
know, if you were Kyler Murray in this offense, faced with what you've got, I think you'd have a field day. You wouldn't have a problem. You would run all day against these guys. They'd have a hard time catching you ever because you know what you're going to do, and your offense is built around you running, and that's what we're going to do. So I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic on our ability to beat Navy. It's
you should beat Navy.
you should beat Navy. Athlete wise, you're better than Navy.
If we don't, does it?
I don't want to
Does it
drive
do
back
anything?
from Fort Worth
No.
to
It
do a
doesn't matter.
podcast if we've lost. That is
You've
gonna be
got to do it.
terrible.
You've got to do it.
No,
But
I
you
wanna-
don't have
I
to do
wanna
it because
hear-
you're
I
going to
wanna
win.
hear-
Does it
And
mean
you're going to
anything?
come back with a win.
Does
No,
it
I mean,
mean
I'm not sitting here like saying burn the place down. If we lose, I'm pissed off. Like we do
It's a
have
pride game. It's nothing
Yeah.
but a pride game.
it's UConn in the Fiesta Bowl.
It's even
it's worse than-
more pride than that.
Like,
It's
it's
Yeah,
like
it's more like Iowa and then whatever.
Independence
It
Bowl,
doesn't matter.
Insight Bowl.
I don't know if I don't know if there's a. I mean, it's almost back to the '94 Copper Bowl where it doesn't matter. You've got new staff coming in. You've got a new offensive scheme coming in.
But
I
you
don't think it matters.
You said it at the front of the pod, Steve. Like bowl season isn't bowl season.
Right.
Like this is just kind of just what this is a
It's
formality.
exhibition.
It's a formality to end the season for us. Like it's like an opportunity for us to see Hawkins and some of these other guys and maybe Devon Mitchell and those type of guys. But at the same time, like this is not. I don't care.
The only thing I'm
Like I
looking to
care,
see-
but I don't care.
You want to have
Right.
a winning record. You don't want to go 6-7.
No, but like I don't. I don't.
The only thing I'm looking to see is I want to see what our defense looks like without Danny and Billy. You know, I want to see what the two, if it's just a 2 linebacker, I want to see what Kip and Kobe do together. And I want to see what Peyton looks like in place of Billy. And then on offense, I would really like to see a couple of these freshman receivers that played the whole season and did absolutely nothing. I would really like to see 3 or 4 catches apiece for 35 to 50 yards from Reagans and Kearney and
I'd like to
carry
see-
on somebody. I like that. We need 150 yards passing
Yeah,
and 200 yards rushing or whatever.
that would be perfect. I would like to see some heart. I want to see some guys go out there and play
want it.
because they want to
Just
win.
want it.
And some young guys that come out and want to show what they can do, showcase their abilities, and prove that they are a player that wants to play on this team.
If
That's
Hayden
all I
gets in
want
there, I
to
want to see him hold on to the football.
see.
And I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna counter what you said at wide receiver, but maybe just edit it a little bit. Is I'd like to see one of those guys just go off like
That
we've
would
seen
help.
some of these receivers do, like a Farouk
Like
against
carry on,
Oregon.
have
Yeah,
6 catches
like-
for 85
or
yards.
Reagan's going over the top in the middle of the field, and we're just hitting him on freaking post routes. And it's like, wow, like this is what has been missing, and it's not necessarily that he's going to be the guy next year, but it's like this is what we're capable of, and we just haven't done it. Like if I'm Joe John Finley right now, I'm like, I have nothing to lose. I'm playing Navy.
Right.
I'm playing freaking Navy. I can go do whatever I want with all of these guys. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go throw the freaking sink at it. And I don't even know if I'm gonna be at OU next year. So let's just have fun. Like, let's go have fun.
Is there no chance that Arbuckle gets a couple concepts kind of pushed in on this bowl strategy
I think there's a
session?
chance.
I mean,
I think there's a
not
chance
like
like where
playbook, but maybe like
Joe
we're
John's
gonna
like,
run
yeah,
inside zone on in this situation, or we're gonna have not, you know, 4 guys go deep at the same time or 3 guys run hitch at the same time. We're gonna do 1 or 2 things where you've got this tunnel screen set up for Burks or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think him being in the room right now is really beneficial to like even for Joe John just to bounce things off of. Like, hey, like I see this, like what do you see?
That would be
Type of thing.
I bet he has looked at our concepts and is just disgusted. And he can't even help himself.
Probably.
Just standing there being like, hey, what if you have Y, run a go and your Z runs a post? That way your X can come across and he's got a full
drag. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
Did you ever like
Yeah.
You ever think
That
about
would
that?
be
Think about layering the wide
Like, did
receivers.
you ever-
Yeah.
think about clearing out this space for this
No,
guy?
we like to have all our guys bunched together.
Yeah, we want to do 5 button hooks.
Or the swing pass. I mean, anything.
Yeah. It could be. I mean, it could be that we just find and
Like,
exploit some kind of a.
Hey Joe, on this play here, you've got 5 button hooks.
What if one of them
Maybe,
doesn't?
maybe you run Hawkins like you did it with the
What if one of them
against
doesn't
Alabama.
do it?
Yeah.
maybe this is the Hawkins run game. Just
Yeah.
because you're trying to get the victory.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I see a gap about as big as the space between your 2 front teeth, and I think we should really exploit it.
It could be. It could be a lot of those things. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm glad that it's Navy and that level.
I want to
of
win a
opponent.
bowl game.
I want to win a bowl game.
Like
I wanna win a
I
bowl game.
really, really do. As much as I
Yeah.
it's not a big thing where I'm just gonna if we lose, I'm gonna take anything from it. I'll take some disappointment and some frustrations, and then I'll turn the
But
page.
just in the record book of whatever.
you just
I
got-
want
I
to
just
see a
want it.
victory.
I want to see it because we're not winning bowl games right now.
Yeah.
We're just not doing it.
But in
And
the
we're
scheme
losing
of who
them
we
ugly.
played, like Florida State, Arizona. Okay, we got to win against Navy.
Yeah.
Get a win.
Yeah.
Get a win.
Don't be that
Just
team.
get the win.
Don't be that team.
Get the
who
win and
drops
get
it.
into the next season. Let's go. And let's see what you can do. Well, I don't know. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for next season for sure. We got a lot to cover for sure. Anything else you guys want to cover?
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
we'll be
I'm
back.
ride or die, baby.
Win or die. We'll
Except
be
you're not gonna do that.
yeah.
I'm
we'll
ride or
be
die from the
but we'll
couch.
be here for the post game. We're going to talk about the post game. We'll be here on Friday for that. And until then, Boomer.
See you.